Baruch Adonai Olam Amen Amen. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're back at the Limud by Bet Knesset Maor Yitzchak over here. Limud Sefer Yirat Hashem, Rab Moshe Amber Alav Shalom. Be'ezrat Hashem, we are. Today is the 19th of the month of Kislev, which is Friday, the 6th day of the week of Parashat Shabbat Vayishev. So the Rabbi continues here in the same signon, same continuation, and the same line as we were learning yesterday and the whole week. The importance of Limud Torah. יש לך פה הכל ספרים. לימוד התורה כמו שצריך. So he says, וזהו הרמוז לאחרית הימים בפרשת הבא ביקש יעקב לשב בשלווה. As we learn in the parasha that the Yaakov Avinu, the whole purpose that Yaakov Avinu, even though he made a mistake and he got punished for it, as we know, this whole parasha is discussing how tzaddikim should be very cautious and should not utter those words of saying, "Oh, let me have peace of mind and learn Torah quietly without anybody disturbing me." That is not why you were created. You were not created, as we know already, humans, we're all created for one purpose. One purpose is to help the other. And it also relates to Talmidei Chachamim. Talmidei Chachamim don't have peace, not in this world, not in the next world. And anytime they try to have peace in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu teaches them a lesson, like we see by Yaakov Avinu. So what happened here was, why did Yaakov Avinu really was ready to take on himself this concept? Why did Yaakov Avinu took on himself this concept? What's going on there? So we continue with the Hainu, Yeshuv Eretz Yisrael, Ratzah Lechbosh Eretz Yisrael b'shava lebanav al yedei limud Torah. So Yaakov Avinu wanted to settle in Eretz Yisrael, meaning he wanted to conquer the land, what was the format? And the fact that he was learning the Torah itself, like we see by Chizkiyahu HaMelech. Just learning Torah is enough. As it says over there that Chizkiyahu HaMelech did not want to even, the country was surrounded, right? Yerushalayim was surrounded by the enemy. And Chizkiyahu HaMelech said, no, we're going back to learn Midrash, we don't know anything else. And actually, no, this was not even in the middle of learning. Chizkiyahu HaMelech said, HaShem, you do whatever you have to do, we're going to sleep. After learning the whole day of Torah, as it was permanent in those days in the kingdom, Chizkiyahu HaMelech went to sleep. And in the morning they wake up, all the army was already destroyed. That's the way. So here Yaakov Avinu is also. Yaakov Avinu is settling in the land, meaning he wants to conquer the land just by learning a Torah. Ve'omnam kafatz alav rogzo shel Yosef, and then Hashem brought this calamity of Yosef. Ramaz lecholoshat chinuch habanim shuhu rogez habanim. What was the whole point? That Yaakov Avinu, there was going to be a problem with the element of teaching the children, and that's what Hashem took away. Took away the Yosef HaTzadik, who was the whole pillar of Torah after Yaakov Avinu. ואז בגלל זה יהיה צורך לרגוז וללחם בתוקף בישמעאל ואדום ולבסוף ננצח את כולם. And because the element of teaching children Torah dissipated, and that's prevalent throughout the whole generations, that it's not so chazak. So what was left when we came from Egypt? We started waging wars to conquer the land. But the Rabbi says over here, if the Torah limud the limud of Torah was on a higher level, meaning children fully engrossed, and we would not allow, not Stalin, and we would not allow anybody like that to deter us from learning the Torah or teaching the Torah to our children, then we don't have to wage physical wars. And now in the end, because of that weakness that we have, that it's not 100%, that we're not giving over the Torah 100% to the children appropriately, unfortunately. For whatever the reason is, either we fail or we have too many distractions like we have today. Almost every house has, I made the other day calculation. If you have 5 children, if you have 5 people in the house, right, and if you have children already teenagers, you could have 6, 7, 8 maybe televisions at home. Depends of each, because I remember we call smartphone a telephone. Smartphone today is a television. When I was growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were fighting. The Rabbanim were fighting against televisions. So the Yetzer Hara was now so strong. Every house might have today 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 televisions. Every laptop is a television. Every person, every adult in the house has to have a laptop, and now teenagers have to have laptops. What about telephones, the smartphones? Even this what we're recording right now. This is all televisions, right? And again, so we see that we are failing because of so many distractions. Doesn't matter what the reasons are. Now the end result is going to be we have to wage war again with Melech HaMashiach to conquer back the ability. But reality is, if we were learning Torah properly, then the land of Israel could have been taken over by Yaakov Avinu and his children. But I guess that this chesaron, this deficiency is still there. It still was there from there until now. So you see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu in the end will save us for His sake. It's nothing to do with us. It will not be. It will have zero to do with us, unfortunately. אחד נגד חלשות הלמדים, תלמוד תורה, ואחד נגד חולשת חינוך הבנים. So all this is why, because we are missing in the element of teaching and learning and teaching our children and teaching in the Batei Midrashot. ועוד למעני בלשון כפות. Another reason why it's repeating on my behalf or for my sake. נחמה אל ישראל מה שנפלו שנפלו במלחמה ונקמה בגויים שונאי ישראל. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu also will take vengeance on the goyim for the fact that there are a lot of Jews who have been lost either to Holocaust, physical Holocaust, spiritual Holocaust. ואומנם חסידי אומות העולם יהיו משובדים תחת ידינו, כי אין בין העולם הזה לימות המשיח, כי אם שעבוד מלכות בלבד. So he says, what will be the difference in the time from today and the time of Mashiach? Because most probably the whole world will continue in the same manner that it is now. The big significance will be is that we will not be under the powers of the goyim. And the unfortunate truth is what I've been stressing for many times already now, again and again. The Limud Torah is incumbent upon us 24/7, 365 days a year. 24/7 means not 24/7. It literally means we are obligated to learn Torah 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and an entire life. So that's incumbent on us. That's what we must do every second. It says in the Pasuk, "V'yigat bo yomam v'layla." There is no room for error. However, we are given allowances. The allowance of sleeping, allowance of eating, allowance of going to the bathroom, allowance of working, parnasa, whatever we need to do to continue this life. We're living in a physical world still. But the question is, are we really spending that allowance appropriately or not? That is the ultimate question. And the rabbi says over here, no. That's why we went to Israel with war, because we did not appropriately lived our allowance. Sounds like even in the desert for 40 years. Even at the time of Yaakov Avinu, he was trying to, that's it, take over the land via Torah, and it was not successful. ולכן ישראל עוד ראשונה יוד, Isurim. What is the letter of Israel? To be straight with Hashem, that the letter is Yud, to teach us that, which stands for Isurim, for suffering. That the Jew has to understand that what suffering comes from is because we are not dedicating our time properly for the Limud Torah, and we're not concentrating. Are we spending the time away from Torah appropriately. I'm talking to myself, obviously. Ve'ot achrona lamet. Israel, the last letter is lamet. Limud Torah. So again, the choice was either we suffer coming in at night after a long day, hard working day, or we're going to come to learn Torah, and yes, by learning Torah, we're going to cause ourselves pain and suffering. But that's the only way to acquire Olam Haba, and the only way to acquire even Olam Hazeh is through suffering. The question is, are we suffering? Are we waking up early in the morning, an hour before davening, and learning? Are we going to sleep an hour later in learning? Or are we just doing ourselves, just, living life? Or giving ourselves excuse, I'm tired. חס ושלום. רמז שבאחרית הימים לאחר הייסורים של המלחמה יתקיים מה שכתוב ואת רוח הטומאה יעביר מן הארץ. So there's a hint over here that we have a Yud and we have a Lamed, that through suffering of learning the Torah, which is in the end of the days, that Hashem will take away from this land, ואחר כך ומלא הארץ דעה את השם כמים לים נכסים. And then, once the coming of the Mashiach, obviously, the Isurim of Milchamot, of the wars will pass by, and what will we be doing? Learning and engrossing ourselves in the Torah, and the land will be filled of this concept. ועוד כתוב, ונבוא בניכם ובנותיכם ובעלה המוות לנצח במהרה בימינו אמן. So the Rabbi says in the end, because of the limud of Torah, because people will choose to just dedicate themselves to limud Torah, because there will not be any need to do anything else, that will eradicate even the death itself. B'mehera b'yamenu, it should be coming to us speedy those days, and Mashiach will come to us, and we will serve Hashem appropriately. Shabbat Shalom.